A friend with weed is a friend indeed.
By the late 90s, the Leprechaun franchise had already gone places no one expected. So logically, there was only one place left to go: the Hood. Yes, in the year 2000, the franchise took one of the strangest pivots in horror history with Leprechaun in the Hood, once again starring Warwick Davis as the rhyming gold-obsessed goblin. And if the previous movie in the franchise felt like Alien filtered through a B-movie lens, this one feels like a strange mix of horror comedy, hip-hop culture, and late 90s direct-to-video energy. It's goofy and it's dated, but I'll be damned if it isn't a great movie. And it's probably the most infamous in the franchise.
It's not much, but it's not the worst.
By the time Leprechaun in the Hood was made, the franchise had firmly settled into the direct-to-video horror market, this being the third entry in the franchise released this way. And at this point, the formula for Leprechaun movies was very clear. Take the Leprechaun, drop him into a different setting, yada yada yada. Las Vegas and space both worked so well, so what else do we have? Well, I guess we've got The Hood. The film was directed by Rob Spera, who brought a slightly different tone to the series, leaning harder into comedy and pop culture references than previous entries. But the biggest decision, and maybe the best decision, was bringing in rapper and actor Ice-T. Holy crap. For years and years, I never understood the appeal for Ice-T. When I watched this movie, it suddenly clicked. Ice-T 100% works for me now.
I'm gonna kill that little green motherfucker! Look at my fucking finger! I'm gonna kill his fucking ass!
And this movie is what did that for me. Now, maybe that's just because I'm a deranged person. We'll never know. But this decision might be the reason the movie still gets talked about today. I thank the film lords for bringing Leprechaun and Ice-T together. So the story for the film actually begins decades earlier. The film reuses footage from the original Leprechaun to open up. In the 70s, a powerful music producer named Mac Daddy discovers the Leprechaun and manages to trap him after stealing his magic flute. Now, it seems at this point in time, he's not necessarily a music producer and stuff. He's, just out there doing his crime lord shit. Years later, the flute is discovered by 3 aspiring rappers trying to make it big in the LA music scene, who steal it from Mac Daddy and accidentally wake up the Leprechaun, kicking forth the events of the movie. So once again, the tiny monster begins hunting down anyone who gets between him and his gold, and it is fucking fantastic, man. There's already a lot of weird stuff going on in these Leprechaun movies. I mean, in the last one, the Leprechaun came out of some guy's dick when he was trying to have sex. In the third one, a guy gets bitten by a leprechaun and he starts turning into one. A lot of weird shit you gotta just be ready for. And by the time Leprechaun in the Hood rolled around, Warwick Davis had been playing this character for nearly a decade.
Yeah. Curious aroma.
He's not pretending this is like a real scary role at this point. He's fully cemented as a horror icon, and honestly, this is Leprechaun's peak for me. As always, Warwick is completely dedicated to this role. And while he's still the face of the franchise, Ice-T arguably might steal the show. He obviously plays Mac Daddy, a ruthless music producer who has already encountered the Leprechaun before. He's essentially a crime boss mixed with a music mogul, and he leans into this role with the exact level of talent it needs.
Get that fucking gun out of my face. You ain't about to kill nothing, little bitch.
His presence gives the movie a different energy than the previous entries. It also makes the story feel much more grounded, which is fucking impressive when you're watching this movie, and Ice-T is that grounded of a character in this environment. The plot involves magical flutes, for God's sake. My favorite moment is when he panics in a public restroom, and, this happens.
Curious aroma.
I think this is the moment I realized this was my favorite Leprechaun film.
That's the bomb right there.
The bomb?
If Leprechaun 3 was where the franchise found its comedic tone, Leprechaun in the Hood is where it mastered it.
Ah, the bomb.
The movie mixes horror with early 2000s comedy in a way that feels very specific to its time. You've got several performances from the rap group, fun dialogue, and over-the-top jokes. Some of it's very dated, as I mentioned before.
I didn't come to play with fruit. I only seek me magic flute.
Fontaine, for example, I could do an entire video about her character.
I hope you ain't a screamer, cause, I got me some company. So get your ass up in there, don't make a beef.
At times, this movie does feel more like a parody of a horror movie than an actual horror movie, but that's completely fine with me. Like every entry has its share of ridiculous moments. Let's talk about a few of them. These were just a few I jotted down because I was like, what the fuck? The character of Chow is kind of wishy-washy, a little bit racist, but we'll move past it. Chow dancing and getting down with his bad self is fucking hysterical still, to this day. And of course the ending, where the Leprechaun performs a full-on rap verse.
I come from the land of the Irish Spring. Dublin's the place where I learned my thing.
The context for this scene is essentially this is the first time the Leprechaun has ever won in the end of one of these movies.
From the Emerald Isle to your place in the hood, I'm the man of green, come to do no good.
He's not killed or anything. It's pretty wild to think about for a Leprechaun film, but a lot of movies end this way.
Lep in the hood, come to do no good. Lep in the hood, come to do no good.
And by this way, I don't mean with a rapping leprechaun, I mean with the villain winning, you know? They'll do like the fake happy ending and then do the real ending. Kind of like the new Final Destination Bloodlines is a perfect example. Now the villain is death in that, but you know what I'm saying? The entire movie is fucking absurd, but that's exactly why the movie has built such a cult following. It's absolutely bonkers. Another part of what makes it so interesting is how it reflects the era it was made in.
What's that?
What's that? It's rap.
Rap?
The late 90s and early 2000s saw a lot of movies blending horror with hip-hop culture. Films like Bones and Tales from the Hood explored similar territory. But unlike those movies, this movie does not take itself seriously one bit. It's more interested in delivering jokes than social commentary. Let me just say something. Coolio has a cameo in Leprechaun in the Hood during the scene where the rap group is performing, terribly I might add, at a church service. That's a weird sentence to say out loud, but it makes it feel more like a late-night cable movie or a fever dream. But this is what these movies were made to be. This is peak performance.
I hope you had sex last night, because I'm going to come over there and cut off your dick. Then I'm going to feed it to my pit. Then I'm going to burn the shit when it comes out of my goddamn dog's ass. You hear me?
Over time, I think this is definitely one of the more talked about entries in the franchise. Not necessarily because it's the best, although it is, but because it's so bizarre. It was popular enough to somehow spawn a direct sequel, Leprechaun Back to the Hood, which pushes the concept further, maybe too far, maybe even off a cliff, but we'll get to that later. This entry remains the sequel most people remember, because once you hear the phrase Leprechaun the Hood, it's impossible to not want to watch that. You know, overall, it's ridiculous, it's messy, it's definitely one of the strangest horror sequels ever made, but it also represents what the franchise had become at that point fully and unabashed. A chaotic horror comedy series built around a villain who thrives in absurd situations, and whether you love it or hate it, you have to admit, not many franchises are bold enough to go directly from space to the hood. Quick thank you to my channel members and Patreon subscribers. If you want more ectoviolence, including exclusive videos and behind-the-scenes content, become a member by clicking the links in the description below.